So here's Mr. Garrison, where we got the I have need to be all on fire. We still look like fanatics. And I'm not going to go historical. I'm not going to read long quotes, but this one, he says, this is what he wrote whenever he was in jail for libeling a slave trader. He said, "My crime is that I will not go with the multitude to do evil. My singularity is that when I say that freedom is of God and slavery is of the devil, I mean just what I say. My fanaticism is that I insist on the American people abolishing slavery or ceasing to prate of the rights of man." Prate is like a 19th century word for blab on, like, fake. Be hypocritical in your speech. Well, when Garrison said that, he's explaining why it is that he keeps getting in trouble and why it is that he keeps on coming into conflict with even other people who agree with him that slavery needs to be done away with. He's just like, man, what I'm doing is I just refuse to go with the multitude to do evil. And another quote, he says, to do or allow evil. He just would not do it. And you can look at a guy like this in history and you can say, well, that's good. He's kind of aberrant. And he's a hero, and you can worship him as a hero. But even though I admire him a lot and I've learned a lot, I try very hard not to worship him as a hero or think of him as a hero. I try very hard to think of him as just the kind of Christian that Jesus wants in the world. And just shouldn't be all that different. Of course, I know that. Well, if you look at the Word of God, he is just quoting the Word of God. This is from Exodus 23:2. "You shall not follow the crowd in doing evil, nor shall you testify in a dispute so as to join together with a crowd in order to pervert justice." I'm not going to go into an anti-Trump rant in front of you. We film those in my car while I drive, and we put them online. And then we watch the subscribes go down. But they also go up and down at the same time, so I think that's encouraging. But this is basically when you're trying to be an abolitionist and you're trying to create a dissident culture that is so unwilling to compromise with the culture of death that if they were to give you a candidate like Donald Trump, who turned around and would say to the dissidents, to the abolitionists, you guys need to calm down about abortion or we are not going to win this race. Guys like Garrison, guys like me, and guys and gals like many of y'all say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to follow the crowd in doing evil or testify in a dispute so as to join with perverting justice. Because a governing authority who wants to reign over a country that says that they were founded on the inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, who's erected buildings that say equal justice under the law, wants to be the leader of that country and say, we're going to allow states to choose to deprive the right to life and we're going to stay out of it and wash our hands like Pilate. But all the great godly Christian leaders say, in this case, we must join together with the crowd to pervert justice. I don't care how you vote. Scratch that. I care how you vote. I wish that I could get every Christian in this culture to refuse to go in the multitude to do evil. We might lose this upcoming election, but the Republican Party would either die or never again give us a constant adulterer, porn guy, LGBTQ affirming, sodomy affirming, anti-justice candidate as the Republican frontrunner. We would never get that again. Like, I don't understand why in the world. Well, I'm not really a preacher. It's ranting. We call it ranting when you don't have a degree from seminary. And if I go too much, you think it's on accident that I'll throw someone's name in, but it's on purpose. I thought about it weeks ago, and then I make it look like it's on accident, but I put their name in there so that they'll get offended, and then they'll talk about it, and then these people will talk about it, and they'll make tweets and shorts about it, and instead of talking about it this much, we'll talk about it this much. And, been doing that for 10, 15 years, and I'm just trying to be the abolitionist we need, not the abolitionist we want. So I'll move on from Trump because that's not really what I'm talking about. But if we did ever create a dissident culture, if the abolitionists really did do that, it wouldn't be, are we voting for Donald Trump or Joe Biden, which is the lesser evil? It would be, who do we vote for? Joe Biden or Dusty Devers? But you're never going to get a Dusty Devers as a candidate by voting for Donald Trump. And if you think otherwise, you're an idiot. Okay. All right. Our crime is that we will not go with the multitude to do evil. Our singularity is that when we say that life is a gift from God and abortion is of the devil, we mean just what we say. Our fanaticism is that we insist on the American people abolishing abortion or ceasing to hypocritically proclaim their embrace of human rights, justice, and love. When we call abortion murder, we mean it. If you call abortion murder and then turn around and compromise with abortion, you don't mean it. You're a hypocrite. Now, we're all hypocrites to some degree, but that is something that you can actually pull off. Stop being so afraid of the future. Okay, one last thing, okay? People who believe that God is sovereign and that man is depraved and et cetera, tell me on Twitter that if I don't vote for Donald Trump, there won't be a country for me to live in 4 years. Of course, that's what they told me when I didn't vote for Mitt Romney, and they were lying then. Because you know what? God's still on his throne, and all that fear is not going to move me to compromise with evil. So.